Okay, so you need help on your Focus and Directrix quiz. It was an open note quiz, but sometimes it's hard to read our notes. And I'm not going to do the quiz with you, again, because there are different versions of the quiz. I don't want to just do one version of the quiz. It's the same as somebody's, but maybe not the same as yours. So I'm going to cover the review, but the review has all the same types of questions that you're going to see on the Focus and Directrix quiz. Now, keep in mind, you do need to make sure you have your notes. I'll kind of cover some of the things that you would find in your notes that you'll see, but mostly having your notes is key to this, pretty much. So let me figure it out. I think. Well, let's just state, I guess, number 1 through 6. Are these horizontal or vertical? How you can tell the difference is in your notes, and I'll just be scribbling around on this, but you'll see that vertical, and you can probably copy this down in your own paper as well, but for vertical parabolas, you've got 2 ways that it could be written. Y equals, for vertex form, y equals a x minus h squared plus k, and it may also be y minus k equals a x minus h squared. So this is 2 the same thing. The only difference is what side the k is on. Sometimes the k is on the left side, sometimes it's on the right side, but it's still pretty much the same thing. The main thing to point out is that the y is on the left here, and the x is in the parentheses that is being squared. So if the x is being squared, that's your sign that this is a vertical parabola. Again, a vertical parabola is a parabola that opens up or down. Right? The horizontal parabola, its vertex form is the same, but everything's reversed in terms of the y and x are switched and the h and k are switched. So somewhere in your notes, you'll see that horizontal equations, vertex form be x equals a, y minus a squared plus h, or it could be written as x minus h equals a, y minus k squared. Okay? Again, very same thing, except the h might be on the left or it might be on the right. Sometimes you just have to know they might write it one way or the other. Both of these are correct. But keep in mind here, you can tell it's horizontal because you have the x equals on the left side, and you have the y in parentheses being squared. So the vertical parabolas, the x is being squared. The horizontal ones, the y is being squared. So that's one way you can really tell the difference. Okay? So, apologize, I guess I don't have to erase that. I'll leave it up there for a second. Now, number 1, there's a bit of a typo. It's supposed to be an x squared here. I'm sorry, an x plus 5. But anyway. Notice it's y equals, and it's got the x squared, which means it's the vertical parabola, right? Just like you see here, the y equals and the x being squared. It's a vertical parabola. Here, I have the y being squared, so that makes this horizontal. Number 3, I have the x being squared, which makes it vertical. Number 4, I have the x being squared, which makes it vertical. Number 5, I have the y being squared, so it's horizontal. And number 6, I have the y being squared, so it's also horizontal. So that's how you can tell. Basically, really, if the x is being squared, it's vertical. If the y is being squared, it's horizontal. That's the big way to tell. Also in your notes, remember I just mentioned the a values in these equations. The a value is the number in front of your parentheses, in front of the x, somewhere in there. All right, that a value for vertical parabolas, if the a value is positive, then your parabola opens up. If the a value is negative, it opens down. For horizontal parabolas, remember horizontal is left and right. So a positive a value means it opens to the right, and a negative a value means it opens to the left. So I want to know, you're going to have to be able to determine in some questions whether it's vertical or horizontal, just like we did in the first 6 here, and whether or not the a value is positive or negative. Okay? And kind of follow that little bit of chart, that information to answer that. So number 7 and 8 goes directly off of that. For a vertical parabola, a negative a value, so vertical, a negative a value, means that this would open down. For number 8, again, this is just looking at your notes. Number 8, horizontal parabola, positive a value, means it would open right. Again, somewhere in your notes that information exists. Okay? Number 9, 10, 11. I'll probably just do one or two of these. Number 9, direction. So I'm just basically wondering whether this opens up or down or left or right. Now, notice it's an x squared. I'm just going to stay like that. Hold on. Alright. Notice it's an x squared. An x squared means this is a vertical parabola, so it's going to open either up or down. Now, because the a value, this is the a value, how can I tell it's the a value? Well, simply because it's in front of the x. The number in front of the x is going to be your a value there. So a is 3. And since a is a positive number, this means the graph is opening upwards. Now the vertex is hk, and it's an ordered pair. So remember, this takes the form y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Remember, we just wrote that not too long ago. Now this one is just y equals 3x squared. A is clearly 3, but where is my h and where is my k? Right? Because those numbers make up my vertex here. Well, I don't see h, which means h is 0. I don't see k, which means k is 0. So my vertex is going to be 0, 0. Now the axis of symmetry, again, somewhere in your notes, this information exists. But for a vertical parabola, your axis of symmetry is x equal to h. If it's a horizontal parabola, your axis of symmetry is y equals to k. I would write that down because unfortunately I need to erase that in a minute. But this is a vertical parabola. I've already established that. So its axis of symmetry is x equal to h. H, as I've already outlined and pointed out, the vertex is 0, so it's x equals 0. Alright, so number 10. Let's see if I can kind of keep some of that up there without having to like erase any of it. Number 10, it's x equals, and it's got y being squared. Since it's the y being squared, this is a horizontal parabola, meaning it's going to open either left or right. So the a value, again, if you look at the equation, it's x equals a, y minus k squared plus h. That's the equation this is written in. The a is a negative 2. So since the a is a negative, and this is horizontal, this opens to the left. Now the vertex is my hk again. It's always h goes first and k goes second. Notice what my k is here. I've got y minus k, and the negative 4 is k. However, it's not negative 4, it's actually a positive 4. Because you see the minus k in the actual equation? Minus means opposite. So whatever number is in that position, the real value of k is the opposite of that sign. So I see a negative 4 in that position, but I have to be thinking the opposite for that number. So it's a positive 4 for k. Now I'm looking for h, and I don't see h. I only see the a value and the k value here. I don't see h. H is not here, so h is 0. So that's the vertex would be 0, 4. And the axis of symmetry, because it's horizontal, remember horizontal axis of symmetry is y equals k. So it's y equals 4, right? Because k, we've mentioned, is 4. Number 11. Let me continue to try and find and get the colors here. Number 11. Again, somewhere in the notes, the equation. I've already written this down before. This is the equation that we have here. Alright, again, that's the vertex form for this parabola. It's vertical because it's the x being squared. So it's a vertical graph, meaning it opens up or down. The a value is a positive 3, so it opens up. Making a video. So it opens up. The vertex is hk. Again, it's always the h value first, the k value second. So my h value here, notice it's a positive 2, but remember this minus h means opposite, so really h is a negative 2. And my k value is here. Now notice the k value, it's plus k in the formula, which means the same k. So my k value here is a negative 2. I do not change its sign because the formula tells me to not change the sign. Okay, the formula tells you when to change the sign and when not to. So it told me to change the sign here, but it told me to not change the sign here. So there's my vertex, -2 and -2. The axis of symmetry, again, because it's vertical, the axis of symmetry is x equals h. So here it's x equals -2, since -2 is h. So that's how you can tell where the vertex is, the axis of symmetry. I believe you got a couple questions on your test about that. Here, there's these exact questions, I believe, on your test. I don't know what order they're in. But we're going to need these formulas, so it's important to have them for the next section. What formula would you use to find the focus of a vertical parabola? Now, this formula, again, somewhere in the notes, is just h k plus e. That's the formula. We'll know what h and k and e are. We can plug them in and have that point. That's the formula to find the focus of a vertical parabola. The directrix of a vertical parabola would be y equals k minus e. Again, somewhere in your notes, that information is already there. The focus for horizontal would be h plus p, comma k, or as an ordered pair, that point. And then directrix would be x equals h minus p. All right, so those are the formulas that we will need to use in our next step. So here, number 18, I need to find the vertex, the axis symmetry, the value p, the focus, the directrix. So the vertex, we already know how to do this. Remember our vertex form? Now, this is similar to the vertex form, right? We wrote the vertex form a second ago. Let me do this. Y equals a x minus h squared plus k. That's the vertex form we're used to. We're changing it a little bit for this formula here. We're changing the a to be 1/4p. Okay, but everything else is the same. Except I'm just making my a little bit more specific because this is how I'm going to find my p-value in a minute. Okay? So my a value is technically 1/20, but I'm going to use that 20 to find p in a minute. But the vertex, hk. So remember this, this is where my h is, and again the formula tells me opposite, so my h is really a -4, and this is where my k is, and the formula tells me to keep it the same, so I keep it the same. -4, 5 is my vertex. So again, my h is -4, my k is +5. I just found that from the equation. The axis of symmetry, again, since this is vertical, right, because it's x squared, the axis of symmetry is going to be the formula x equals h. So in this case, it's x equals -4, because -4 is h. The value of p, so 20 is my equation here, 1/20. But remember, this used to be 1/4p. So 20 was 4p. So 4 times something is now made that 20. So what is that something? Well, in this case, it's 5, right? 4 times 5 makes 20. So my p-value is 5. That's how I found it, because basically I divided 20 by 4. 20 divided by 4, whatever number divided by 4. Now the focus. Now this is where those formulas that we just wrote down a moment ago are going to be used. So my formula for my focus, and this is a vertical parabola, right? We've already established that. And I want to find the focus. So the formula we just wrote down in a previous question for this was h and then k plus p. That's the formula I'm going to use. So here I'll have h, we've already established, is -4, and then k is 5, and p, as we've already mentioned, is 5 as well. So plugging them in, that's going to make the point -4, 10. Right? Because the 5 plus 5 is going to make my 10. Now, directrix is the same thing as another formula. This is going to be y equals k minus p, one that we've already written down, one's already in our notes. So y equals k, which is 5, and p, which is 5. So y equals 5 minus 5. This will be y equals 0. All right? The only difference in number 19 is this is a horizontal parabola. So its h and k's are a little bit backwards. That's your h, that's your k. Opposite here and opposite there, making the vertex -2, +1. Axis symmetry is y equals k. Again, another formula for a horizontal, and this would be y equals 1. This k is 1. The value of p, since it's a -8 here, -8 divided by 4, p would equal a -2. And then you would use your formulas again, but this formula for focus would be h plus p comma k. And then the Directrix formula you use x equals h minus p. So you already have your h, k, and your p values, so you can just plug them in. Okay, it's the same thing. Now number 22, the very last one, we're going to write the equation. Now there are two formulas, one for vertical, one for horizontal, that we could use just depending on if we notice it's vertical or horizontal. So the vertical one is, we've already established, we wrote it down a second ago, y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared plus k. Sometimes it might be written as, y minus k equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared. Again, these are exactly the same thing, except that the k might be on the right side or it might be on the left side. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with that first one for now, where the k is on the right side. Okay, but it's the same thing. All I need to do is find h, k, and p, plug them in, and I'll have the equation. But just in case I need it, the horizontal one, if I realize this is horizontal, is x equals 1 over 4p y minus k squared plus h. Alright, so these are the formulas. All we need is to know what the p value is, the h value, and the k value. If I know those three, I'll just plug those numbers in, and I'll have my equation. Okay, same thing down here. All I need is those three numbers, I'll plug them in, and I'll have my equation. So I'm going to use the information I've been given here in number 20, the focus and directrix. So I know the focus is at the point 2, 2, so I'm going to plot that. Focus is here. Oops. Right there. 0.22, that's my focus, okay? Not my vertex, that's my focus. Alright, my directrix is y equals -2. So on my y-axis, which is the vertical one, right? -2 is here. So the directrix is the line that's going to slice through that. So my directrix is this line here. Okay? If it's y equals, it should be left to right, it should be a flat line. If it's an x equals, it would be a vertical line that would slice up and down. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Alright, so y equals flat line there at -2. Now what I need is h and k. But remember, let me see where can I write this. hk is our vertex point, remember? So I got to find the vertex here. All I have is the focus and directrix. What you need to keep in mind, and how it's easy to find it, is that the vertex is halfway between the focus and the directrix. So my vertex is right in the middle of these two. Halfway between my focus and the directrix, which puts it right here. That's right between the focus and directrix. That is my vertex point. That is the point, what is it? 2, 0. Right? It's 2 on the x-axis, 0 for y. So it's h and k. H is 2, k is 0. So I'll keep that in mind. I'll be plugging those numbers in a second. The p-value is the last thing I need. P-value is the distance from, why did I not use purple? Okay. P-value is the distance from the focus to the vertex, or the vertex to the directrix. It's the same either way, but it's just that distance, right? It's because it's in the middle, this is the same. But that distance is 2. So my p-value is equal to 2. So I have h, k, and p. I have everything I need. But am I plugging it into the vertical one or the horizontal equation? That's what I need to know finally. Now, because, let me clean this up just a little bit. Alright? Because of where my focus, vertex, and directrix is, my parabola, I just kind of want to know its shape, whether it opens up and down or left and right, so I know if I'm using vertical or horizontal. It always opens away from the directrix. So directrix is that line at the bottom. My parabola is going to go through the vertex, and it's going to be opening away from the directrix, right? Going kind of around the focus and away from the directrix. So my parabola will look like that. So it opens up, which means it's vertical, so I'm going to be using this. So finally, I just plug in my h, k, and p. P is 2. So this will be 4 times 2, which will be 8, which I'll write down in a second. My h is 2. So I'll have minus 2. And then k is 0. So I can have plus 0. And there's my equation. Voila. If I clean it up a little bit, it's really like y equals 1 over 8, and then x minus 2 squared. I don't really have to write the plus 0. But yeah, just nice and simplified, that would be it. Alright, that's going to cover it for this video, guys. I hope, again, it helps. These are all similar to what questions you saw on your test. Anyway, I will leave you at that, and good luck. Hopefully that helps your grade. See you another time. Bye-bye.